6:03 on Tuesday, July 29th. 77 degrees, sunny, hot, and humid again. Highs in the upper 90s. With humidity, it could feel as hot as 105. Good morning, I'm Michelle Basch.
And I'm John Aaron. The top local story we're following this hour. Today is the day supporters and opponents of the proposed new stadium for the Washington Commanders have waited for. The D.C. Council has scheduled 2 days of public hearings on the issue with a key vote planned for later in the week. WTOP's Dan Ronan reports more than 500 people have already signed up to testify as members listen to what the public has to say before voting.
7 yes votes are needed to move the nearly $4 billion project forward. Council President Phil Mendelson says the agreement before the council is a better one than the deal worked out between the team and Mayor Muriel Bowser because it includes more than $900 million in long-term additional revenue. The mayor says the overall deal is the biggest private investment in city history, with $2.7 billion to be spent, including the stadium and the redevelopment of the 100 acres of real estate along the Anacostia River. Last week, a pro-stadium group went door-to-door in Northeast D.C., explaining what they say are the benefits of the agreement and asking residents to put pro-stadium signs on front lawns. But the stadium deal is not universally supported. One group is seeking to get the question before voters in a ballot initiative. Dan Ronan, WTOP News.
And in a very long hearing, the D.C. Council passed the 2026 budget, which includes funding for that stadium project. WTOP's Mike Murillo reports it comes after months of debate, working through a budget that was delayed in getting to the council after Congress created a budget shortfall.
After almost 6 hours of debate and even a protest breaking out inside the council chambers, the 2026 budget was approved. Only 2 members voting against it in the end. Inside the budget, money earmarked for the Commanders Stadium, also money to implement ranked choice voting in the district, and a compromise amendment which will repeal a portion of Initiative 82, the tipped minimum wage initiative. Now the tipped minimum wage will increase much slower, with a cap of 75% of the minimum wage by 2034. That amendment led to the protest I mentioned earlier. Also, we saw a last-minute cut of $30 million from the budget. Council Chairman Phil Mendelson introducing that amendment, which he said he didn't want to introduce.
I am moving this amendment under duress because the Chief Financial Officer has stated that without this amendment, quote, I cannot attest that the FY 2026 budget and financial plan is in balance.
At the Wilson Building, Mike Murillo, WTOP News.
The Trump impact has affected many federal employees' mental health for the past 6 months with the reduction in force to government agencies. Federal News Network's Anastasia Obis has more.
In June, Federal News Network conducted a survey of current and former federal employees to gauge how workforce changes implemented during the Trump administration have impacted their mental health. Nearly 95% of federal workers said they have experienced increased stress, anxiety, and depression since January 20th.
FNN found over 50% of current employees said their job performance has declined during this time. A little over 3,600 current and former employees completed the survey. It has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.7 percentage points. Check out the full survey results at WTOP.com.
The 2 candidates to replace the late Congressman Jerry Connolly in Virginia's 11th District squared off last night in a community forum, and WTOP's Alan Etter was there.
Republican Stuart Whitson and Democrat James Walkinshaw met for the very first time on this stage here at the Reston Community Center. The meeting, billed as a candidates forum, was sponsored by the Reston Citizens Association and covered a wide range of topics, including voting rights, housing, Social Security, and this exchange over DOGE and the elimination of tens of thousands of federal jobs. Whitson is the first to speak.
I'm someone that knows full well how important the work is they do. I know that 99% of the federal employees that serve our country are great, wonderful, hardworking Americans who love our country and literally devote their life to making it better.
Well, Stuart, if you want to help the federal employees who have lost their job or those thousands who are about to lose their job, you could stop advocating to make DOGE permanent. You can denounce that.
Early voting is already underway. The election is September 9th. In Reston, Alan Etter, WTOP News.
A local sheriff is urging you to make sure your car is locked as deputies crack down on members of the so-called Felony Lane Gang. WTOP's Valerie Bonk has more from the sheriff.
If you see somebody in the area that looks a little suspicious to you, you got to let us know. Loudoun County Sheriff Mike Chapman said 2 members of a gang of criminals traveling the country and stealing IDs and checkbooks from unattended cars have been arrested after months of investigation. It started in March when a fraudulent check was cashed in Sterling and several vehicles were stolen from at a farm in Leesburg. 21-year-old Ricky Noel and 28-year-old Frederick Holmes, both of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, face charges in Loudoun County, including credit card theft, grand larceny, and identity theft. He said there are probably more people out there in the area stealing in a similar manner.
For example, if you're dropping your child off at daycare and you get out of your car and just run your child in, and the next thing you know, it only takes really a matter of seconds to open your car door, grab what's in there, and take off. And that's it. I mean, it happens that fast.
Valerie Bonk, WTOP News.
Coming up on WTOP in Money News, more turbulence ahead for a low-cost airline. Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.